So look, the reason why I call a lot of things fuck coins or call them shit coins or whatever is because if the nature of the problem is that the Federal Reserve can create as many dollars as possible, right? The solution to that problem, which I believe to be Bitcoin, right? But the solution to that problem can't be another currency that somebody can just print out of nowhere. That doesn't make sense, right? So people have realized this, people have figured this out, so they eventually find Bitcoin, right? If the Federal Reserve keeps putting more dollars in circulation, it devalues the people holding the dollar, right? Your dollar becomes worth less. But what ends up happening is people think that they're too late to Bitcoin, right? Or they think like it's too expensive. And these developers of these fuck coins, what they end up doing is they create a coin to make you a bunch of promises, right? And then they just extract your money from you. They know that you want to get rich. They know that you're trying to, get a quick return. So they just issue some tokens, keep some for themselves, issue the rest out to you, and then you send the price up. They just got rich, right? So it wouldn't make sense to say, the problem, the major problem in this world are the central banks is creating all this money out of thin air and then move to some type of token or whatever that is also created out of thin air. Now, a part of this problem or a part of this whole little scheme is that they have to keep making future promises to get you to buy in, right? Because think about this, it wouldn't work in the stock market like this, right? Like a company can't say, "Oh, we're going to do this and we're going to take over this industry," or once this happens, then we're going to make a lot of money. Because the investors are going to be like, "Hey, bro, what were your sales? What was your revenue last quarter? What was your revenue last year?" Right? Like, I'm not about to invest my money into a company based on them saying like, "Oh yeah, we haven't solved any problems right now, but we're going to." And then what you don't realize is that "we're going to" thing has been going on for years, right? So what these developers do is they create some type of token. They usually diss Bitcoin when they do it. They say, "Oh, Bitcoin's too slow," or "we do more transactions," or whatever. And you already missed Bitcoin, so why don't you just join us? So if I pay a developer $1,000 to create me a token, right? There's 100,000 units of this token. I keep half of them myself and then sell out the other half. And then you and everybody else watching this buys into it. Well, y'all took y'all hard earned money, and instead of buying the dollar, which was made out of nowhere, you buy my token, which I just made out of nowhere. That sends the value of my tokens that I just made out of nowhere and put in my own pocket. Y'all send the value of it up. I sell out into the market and then dip and walk away. That's it. Like real easy, right? So in order for them to get you to believe this, like I said, they have to, "Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that." It's a narrative thing. Yeah, we're going to take over, we're about to do this. Like, where is it at? And what you don't understand as well is that there's a cycle. Every 4 years, every halving cycle, there's a new group of Bitcoiners who try to warn you against this because we've seen it before, right? I've traded crypto before. I've seen all these coins come and I see them go. I see them become irrelevant. So, for instance, 2017, the thing that was big in 2017 was it was like an ICO, right? Your initial coin offering. So check this out. All right, where did the money go inside the big crypto ICOs of 2017? Right. So imagine in 2017, all these people are like, "Yo, instead of buying Bitcoin, I'm going to get in on this or that or this." Tell me if any of these names are even recognizable anymore, right? Where are these at? But see, at the minimum, they at least had some type of offering so you could hop in on these. Not right away, not right when they're created, but close to that. Now, people don't even need an offering. They just create it, put it out into the market, and then people buy it right away. Like, come on, bro. So that was the 2017 thing. It was the ICOs. It was, oh, this token's gonna do this token's gonna do this token's gonna do that. Think about the opportunity cost of you not buying Bitcoin, right? Because you bought this and it went up and then went down, right? 2020 we had DeFi, right? So I think I'm the class of 2020. So 2020 we had DeFi. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is dope. Decentralized finance. We got this token, this token. You can do this, you can do that. All that was a distraction from Bitcoin. All of it. I promise you, all of it was a distraction from Bitcoin. So you go through cycle after cycle, and then you start to realize, like, oh man, like people are talking you out of this. Because, all right, think about this. If you're watching this, most people are going to be split one to two categories. They're going to say, hey, I just want to make as much money as possible, like without taking a crazy risk. Okay, if that was the case, go buy Bitcoin. The Bitcoin all-time charts is smoking everything else, right? And then the other group of people, they're going to say, well, I'm not just going to put my money into anything. I need something that's going to help solve a problem or help, has a use case or whatever. Okay, go buy Bitcoin, right? So if any of these tokens that people are promising were so good or so whatever, they would outperform Bitcoin. And they'll make it seem like, oh, don't buy Bitcoin because you could buy this, it's going to move faster. Well, how come none of these coins have outperformed Bitcoin? You got to stop and ask yourself that. How come none of these coins have outperformed Bitcoin then, right? Just hit the all-time charts. Now, this is what people do. This is what a lot of these shitcoiners like to do to convince you. They use a very specific time frame. They use a very specific time frame when they're talking about the performance of whatever fuck coin. So, for example, today's the seventh day of the year, right? It's January 7th, seventh day of the year. Let's hypothetically say Bitcoin from the first to the fifth have tripled. And then day 6 and day 7, it does nothing. And then let's say that there's fuck coin. The first 5 days of the year, it did nothing. And then on the 6th and the 7th, it went up 50%. So this is what people do to try to convince you to ignore Bitcoin. They say, Bitcoin is too expensive. If you would have put your money in fuck coin 2 days ago, you would be up 50% right now. But if you had that same money in Bitcoin, then you would still have the same amount of money. But they're gonna completely ignore the first 5 days, right? That's why people use very specific charts when they talk about shitcoins. They say, well, in the last 3 months, this did this, but Bitcoin didn't do anything. So you start to think, oh, okay, well, if I just put my money in the next 3 months, I'll have that same return. It doesn't work like that. The reason why they use those very specific charts is because their shitcoin have moved at that very specific time. If you go look at an all-time chart, right, Bitcoin's outperformed. What's going to be around 5 years from now? Bitcoin. Will the shitcoin be around 5 years from now? Who knows, right? So if I'm a company and I issue a token and I store some of that token in my pocket, and then I go pay some influencers or pay some, YouTubers or pay whatever to talk about this token, or maybe I even give them some of the token, and then they sit on YouTube and say, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy that. And then you're like, yeah, I'm going to buy this because it's faster than Bitcoin, or I'm going to buy this because it processes more transactions of Bitcoin. How do you know they weren't paid to buy that? It's all a distraction, bro. And trust me, I've been there before. I traded crypto out. Oh yeah, this project, they're going to do this and this project's going to do this. It's always based on future promises. What have they been doing? Nothing. Almost 100% of the time it's nothing. So I just wanted you to think about that. And the speed in which you can get to your exit liquidity in crypto is like instantly, right? So if I were a stock, or if I was a company that wanted to go in the stock market, have all these, regulations and stuff that I need to follow, and it's going to cost me millions of dollars just to get listed. So then I also need to, provide my 10Ks, my 10Qs, all my finances, all that stuff. And then they need to go get audited. Well, if I have a crypto token, I don't need to sell anything. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to sell anything. I just need people to go buy it. That's it. So I can go from conception in my mind to my liquidity, which is y'all, instantly, right? At least in the stock market, it's going to take a while to get listed, to stay listed, to be on the NASDAQ, all that good stuff. So people are spinning these coins out of nowhere. And then uh, people like you take your hard-earned money and buy them. Now, then people sit in the comments and they need to convince you to buy as well so it can send the price up. And you could say, well, isn't that why people tell people about Bitcoin? No, at this point, Bitcoin's a $2 trillion asset. Me buying $5 million worth of Bitcoin ain't really gonna do much. Everybody watching this buying Bitcoin ain't really gonna do much. At this point, it's gonna take the heavy lifters, the institutions, the government, right? Financial organizations. You see, no government's buying any shitcoins. Because why would they exchange their money for a shitcoin when this centralized organization could just make more of the shitcoin? It doesn't make sense, man. So that's it. I just want y'all to know this is why I'm anti everything that's not Bitcoin. Because I believe the problem is central banks creating money out of nowhere. The solution will not be store your money into this token, which was printed out of nowhere. Now, I know you're going to say, well, isn't Bitcoin created out of nowhere? No, you have to mine it. And in order to mine Bitcoin, you're going to need a miner, you're going to need electricity, you're going to need a place to store all that stuff. And it's going to cost you a lot of money. So think about the dollar. In order to produce $1, and most dollars are digital, right? So in order to produce $1, it costs nothing. And in order to produce $100 trillion, it costs nothing. In order to produce one Bitcoin, the miners are going to have to pay, right, for their electricity. They have their costs. In order to produce 10 Bitcoin, it's going to be 10 times that cost. It's going to be, 100 times that cost if you're looking at 100 Bitcoin. So it's not created out of thin air. You actually have to mine it out of the future, right? So if you think of gold as being stuck in the ground, you have to have axes and shovels and picks and strainers to dig the gold out of the ground, right? So you can't make gold appear out of thin air, right? You have to mine it out of the ground. With Bitcoin, you mine it out of the future, right? So check this out. Let's share my screen. All right, so we can see the actual blockchain right here, right? So these are all the blocks that have been mined. So what they're doing is they're bringing Bitcoin into circulation. Okay, let me try to get to the most recent one. Right? And this down here is who mined it. Got a little bit way to go. Okay, cool. All right. No way. All right. So 8 minutes ago, the last block was mined. So in the next 2 or 3 minutes, the next blocks will be mined. So you see how this says in 9 minutes, well, less than 9 minutes, and then in 20 minutes, in 30 minutes, in 39 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, right? So these Bitcoin that are going to be mined, they're in the future. And you need miners to solve them and process all these transactions in order to bring them to, which costs money. And because it costs money, they get a reward for mining it. All right. So you can't just snap your fingers. There's the reward, right? So you can't just snap your fingers and make Bitcoin appear, right? So that's the problem. The problem is central banks create money out of thin air. They loan it to the governments. The government needs to tax you for it. That sends the cost of living up by them just introducing more and more currency. The solution cannot be fuck coin because it was created out of thin air meant to extract wealth from you. All right, that's it. I'm out.